Ever feel like you're being shoved into a sales role when your entire soul is screaming that something's not right? Like you're being forced to play a character that just isn't you? Well, I've got some good news for you. If you're an INFJ personality type, that feeling isn't you being broken or not trying hard enough. It's actually your personality type sending you a very loud message about what you're truly meant to do. See, here's the thing about INFJs that most career advice gets completely wrong. We're told we should be able to excel in any role, and while that's technically true, there's a massive difference between being able to do something and actually thriving in it. An INFJ in the wrong career doesn't just underperform, they burn out, they feel disconnected, and they start questioning whether there's something wrong with them. Spoiler alert, there isn't. The problem is the fit. Today, I'm breaking down 10 careers that genuinely align with who INFJs are as people. These aren't just jobs that INFJs can do. These are paths where your natural strengths actually become your superpowers. We're also talking about why traditional career advice steers INFJs wrong and what you should actually be looking for instead. 1. Psychologist or therapist, where your empathy is the whole point. Let's start with the career that feels almost like it was designed specifically for the INFJ personality type. As a psychologist or therapist, you're not just talking to people, you're reading between the lines. You're picking up on the emotions that aren't being said out loud. This is exactly what INFJs do naturally. You've probably spent your whole life noticing things about people that they don't even realize you're noticing. You see someone struggle in their eyes before they put it into words. You sense when a friend is going through something they haven't told you about yet. In a therapy or psychology role, that skill isn't just appreciated, it's literally your job description. You're being paid to understand people on a deep level, to help them navigate their internal worlds, and to guide them toward meaningful change. The patience that INFJs have with others? That's essential here. The way you can sit with someone's pain without trying to fix it immediately? That's therapeutic. Your ability to see the bigger picture in someone's life situation and connect the dots in ways they haven't considered? That's invaluable clinical work. The research side of psychology is equally fitting. Many INFJs gravitate towards studying the psychological questions that matter, things about human motivation, relationships, trauma recovery, or personal growth. You get to use your deep thinking and research skills to understand humanity better, which aligns perfectly with that INFJ drive to understand how things work at their core. The financial upside isn't bad either. Psychologists typically earn around $116,000 annually, though experienced practitioners and those with private practices often make significantly more. But honestly, for most INFJs, the money is secondary to the fact that you're doing work that feels genuinely meaningful every single day. 2. Counselor or social worker, helping people who need you most. This path is about meeting people in their most vulnerable moments and actually making a difference in their lives. Counselors and social workers spend their days solving people problems, and that's actually where INFJ brains light up. You're not sitting in a sterile office doing spreadsheets. You're actively helping individuals navigate difficult periods, connecting them with resources, and being a steady presence when their world feels unstable. Your natural ability to connect with people, understand their motivations, and see what they need becomes your primary tool for helping them move forward. What makes this especially suited to INFJs is the relationship-building aspect. You're not chasing clients or forced into high-pressure sales conversations. You're developing genuine, authentic relationships with the people you're helping. These are deep, meaningful connections that often last a long time. For INFJs, this is the sweet spot. You get to help people one-on-one or in small groups, which suits your preference for meaningful depth over surface-level interaction. The variety in this field is significant too. You might work in schools, hospitals, nonprofit organizations, rehabilitation centers, or government agencies. Each setting brings different challenges, but they're all focused on the same core mission, supporting people through difficulty. That mission-driven work keeps INFJs energized in ways that purely corporate roles often can't. 3. Teacher or educator, molding minds and changing futures. Teaching is one of those careers where INFJs often discover they have genuine gifts they didn't realize they possessed. The reason teaching works so well for INFJs comes down to a few things. First, you care deeply about helping people grow and develop. In a classroom or educational setting, that's literally what you're doing every day. You're not just transferring information, you're helping young people or adult learners understand concepts, discover their own abilities, and develop confidence in their capabilities. That feels important because it is important. Second, teaching allows for the kind of one-on-one connection and small group work that energizes INFJs. Yes, you might be in front of a classroom of 30 students, But great teachers develop individual relationships with their students. You notice when someone's struggling. You pick up on the quiet student who has brilliant ideas but lacks confidence to share them. You understand your students as whole people, not just as test scores. This deep understanding of each individual learner becomes your teaching superpower. Third, education provides structure and clear goals. INFJs thrive when they have concrete objectives and deadlines. Teaching gives you that: curriculum standards, lesson plans, student assessments, grading deadlines. That framework actually helps you feel more creative within your role, not less. Many INFJs report that teaching gives them a sense of purpose that's hard to find in other careers. The burnout risk in teaching is real, though it's worth noting. It comes largely from bureaucratic frustration rather than the core work itself. When you're in a school that actually values what you're trying to do, teaching can be deeply fulfilling for an INFJ. 4. Writer or content creator. Your voice deserves an audience. INFJs have always had stories to tell, complex ideas to explore, and deep perspectives on the human condition. Writing is the career that lets you do this professionally. Many successful authors, screenwriters, novelists, and journalists identify as INFJs because the work aligns perfectly with their natural talents. You can express yourself fully through writing in ways that face-to-face interaction sometimes doesn't allow. Your internal world, that rich, complex inner life that INFJs experience, finally has an outlet. You're not just sharing information. You're creating meaning, exploring ideas, and connecting with readers on an emotional level. Content creation has expanded what writer means. You could be creating video scripts, podcasts, blog content, or social media that educates and inspires people. The common thread? You're using your voice and your perspective to help others understand something important. Your intuitive nature lets you anticipate what readers actually need to know, not just what you think you should tell them. Your creativity means you present information in interesting, thought-provoking ways rather than just regurgitating facts. The beauty of writing careers is the independence they often offer. You can work at your own pace, in your own space, with your own schedule. For INFJs who find the constant social demands of many jobs draining, this is a huge plus. You get to recharge, to think deeply, to refine your ideas before presenting them to the world. 5. Nonprofit founder or advocate. Turning your values into action. This might be the most fulfilling path for INFJs who have a specific cause they care about deeply. Starting a nonprofit or working as an advocate for a cause means you're not just going to work, you're actively working to make the world better. INFJs are driven by values and meaning. If your day job doesn't align with what you believe in, it creates an internal tension that eventually becomes unbearable. But if your work is literally about advancing something you care about, that's when INFJs become unstoppable. Nonprofit work attracts INFJs because the mission comes first. Sure, there's still business involved, but the fundamental goal isn't profit, it's impact. Whether you're running an organization focused on education, environmental conservation, mental health, social justice, or any other cause, you're surrounded by people who share your commitment to making things better. That shared purpose creates a completely different work environment than typical corporate settings. The leadership opportunities here are significant too. INFJs make thoughtful, principled leaders who inspire their teams through vision and genuine care for team members' development. You're not just managing people, you're helping them understand how their work contributes to something larger than themselves. That's powerfully motivating for everyone involved. 6. Healthcare professional, combining intellect with compassion. Healthcare careers attract many INFJs because they combine the intellectual challenge with the opportunity to directly help people. Nursing is one common path. Nurses work closely with patients, developing relationships and understanding what they're going through. You're not just administering medical treatment, you're caring for whole people during vulnerable times. Experienced nurses earn an average of $93,000 annually, but the real compensation comes from knowing you're genuinely making someone's life better when they need it most. Other healthcare paths include occupational therapy, physical therapy, physician assistant roles, or specialized nursing in areas like psychiatric nursing or palliative care. These roles let INFJs use their empathy and deep understanding of human needs as a core part of their professional contribution. You're solving problems in real time, adapting to each patient's unique situation, and seeing tangible results from your work. The INFJ preference for continuous learning also fits well in healthcare. Medicine and medical science are constantly evolving. You're always learning new approaches, new research, new ways to better serve your patients. That intellectual stimulation, combined with meaningful human connection, creates a career that engages both your head and your heart. 7. Researcher or scientist. Deep thinking applied to meaningful questions. Many INFJs are drawn to research because it lets them engage in the kind of deep, focused thinking they naturally gravitate toward. Scientific research, whether in psychology, medicine, environmental science, or any other field, appeals to INFJs who want to understand how things work at a fundamental level. You get to ask big questions, design thoughtful investigations, and contribute to human knowledge. The quiet, focused environment of research and laboratory work suits the INFJ temperament. You're not forced into constant social interaction or high-pressure performance situations. What makes research particularly fitting is that INFJs often want their work to contribute to something meaningful. Research that helps solve real-world problems or advances human understanding feels purposeful in a way that purely theoretical work might not. You want to know that your thinking is going to make some kind of positive difference, even if that difference plays out over years or decades. The research world also respects the thoughtful, methodical approach INFJs bring to complex problems. You're not jumping to conclusions. You're considering multiple angles, anticipating potential issues, and thinking through the broader implications of your work. These are valuable traits in research settings. 8. Human resources leadership, building human-centered workplaces. HR might not seem like an obvious INFJ career, but HR leadership at a meaningful level is actually an excellent fit for many. We're not talking about transactional HR work like processing paperwork or scheduling interviews. We're talking about leading HR strategy, developing organizational culture, and helping leadership understand and support their people better. This is where INFJs can make a genuine difference in how organizations operate. INFJ HR leaders excel at creating environments where people feel valued and understood. You naturally want everyone to feel heard, respected, and appreciated. In a senior HR role, you can actually implement systems and policies that reflect these values. You can push back against practices that prioritize profit over people. You can advocate for employee wellness, fair treatment, and meaningful work opportunities. Your intuitive nature is huge here too. You pick up on organizational dynamics that others miss. You notice when someone's struggling before they officially report it. You understand what motivates different team members and what environments they need to do their best work. These insights, when channeled into strategy, create better workplaces for everyone. 9. Coach or mentor, helping others reach their potential. Whether it's executive coaching, life coaching, mentorship programs, or academic advising, coaching-style roles are deeply satisfying for many INFJs. This work is fundamentally about helping individuals understand themselves better and chart a path toward their goals or their best selves. You're not telling people what to do. You're asking thoughtful questions, helping them see things from different angles, and supporting them as they make their own decisions. This approach perfectly matches the INFJ style of influence. You lead through vision, values, and genuine care rather than through directive control. The relationship focus is central here. Each coaching engagement is a meaningful connection where you're really trying to understand the person you're working with. You're not just going through a checklist of coaching techniques. You're genuinely invested in their growth and success. That authenticity is exactly what makes good coaches powerful. Many INFJs are drawn to specialized coaching, executive coaching for corporate leaders, career coaching for people navigating transitions, wellness coaching, or spiritual coaching. Whatever the specialization, the core work remains the same, helping people move from where they are to where they want to be. 10. Artist or creative professional, expressing your inner world. Finally, let's talk about the creative careers, not necessarily as side hustles, but as primary professions for INFJs with genuine artistic talent and dedication. Whether it's visual arts, music, film, design, or digital creation, artistic careers let INFJs express the rich, complex inner world that defines their experience. Your creativity isn't just a nice bonus trait, it's a central part of who you are. In art-focused careers, that creativity becomes your primary contribution. Many famous INFJs made their mark through creative work. The emotional depth, the attention to nuance, the ability to communicate complex ideas through art, these are INFJ strengths that shine in creative fields. You can explore themes that matter to you deeply, tell stories that you believe need to be told, and create work that resonates with others on an emotional level. The key to success in creative careers is typically twofold: genuine talent combined with the discipline and follow-through that INFJs are known for. You can't just rely on inspiration, but you can develop your craft, complete projects, and build a body of work that reflects your vision and values. Why INFJs struggle in sales, and why that's okay. Before we wrap up, let's address the elephant in the room: why salespeople often feel so wrong to INFJs, and why you shouldn't force yourself into this mold. Sales careers are built on different foundational assumptions than most INFJ careers. Successful sales roles typically require constant high-energy interaction, networking, and the ability to separate the person from the outcome. You're meeting many people, building surface-level connections quickly, and moving on. For INFJs, this is genuinely draining. You don't recharge in constant social situations. You recharge in solitude and deep reflection. Sales also often prioritizes closing the deal over everything else. For many INFJs, this creates an ethical tension. What if pushing this sale isn't actually what's best for this person? What if there's a competitor with a better product? INFJs struggle with compromising their values for commission, and that's not a weakness, that's integrity. Your conscience is trying to protect you from work that violates your core values. Additionally, sales requires someone to be comfortable with frequent rejection and to bounce back quickly. INFJs internalize feedback deeply. You don't just hear no. You analyze why, you wonder if the person didn't like you, you think about it for days. That's not weakness. It's how your brain processes information. In sales, that tendency becomes self-torture rather than helpful reflection. Here's the hard truth. Some INFJs can succeed in sales through sheer willpower and high-performer mentality. But they often do so at the cost of their well-being and authenticity. They spend their days being someone they're not, suppressing their natural instincts and working against their core nature. That's a recipe for burnout, not success. What to look for in an INFJ career. As you're evaluating career paths, here are the key elements that make a difference for INFJ satisfaction and success. First, look for work that aligns with your values. This isn't a nice-to-have for INFJs, it's essential. If your day job doesn't reflect what you believe in, you'll eventually feel disconnected and depleted. The organization's mission, the impact of your work, and the ethical standards of your workplace all matter tremendously. Second, seek roles that involve genuine human connection and understanding. You want to work with people in meaningful ways, not surface transactions. Whether that's deep client relationships, team environments built on authentic connection, or helping individuals navigate important transitions, the human element should be real and substantive. Third, prioritize environments that offer some autonomy and flexibility. You work best when you have some agency over how you do your work and when you can carve out time for reflection and recharge. Rigid, micromanaged environments drain INFJs rapidly. Fourth, choose work that engages your creativity and strategic thinking. You're not just an executor of someone else's plan. You're someone who sees possibilities, connects disparate ideas, and comes up with thoughtful solutions. Careers that let you do this are much more fulfilling than roles where you're just following instructions. Finally, consider the pace and relational demands of the environment. Yes, INFJs can handle high-pressure situations. You actually often thrive with reasonable deadlines and clear objectives. But constant interruption, demand for immediate availability, or environments that don't allow for any quiet focus time will eventually exhaust you. Conclusion: trust yourself. If you're an INFJ and you've been feeling like you don't fit into the standard career paths you've been told to pursue, that feeling is valid. You're not broken. You're not lacking ambition. You're not too sensitive for the working world. You're actually a person with specific strengths, preferences, and values that matter tremendously in certain types of work. The careers we've covered today, from psychology and counseling to nonprofit work to creative fields, aren't just jobs that INFJs can do. These are paths where your natural gifts become genuine advantages, where your tendency toward deep thinking is celebrated, where your values-driven approach is not just accepted but essential, where your creativity, empathy, and vision are exactly what's needed. The world needs INFJ psychologists who truly understand their clients. It needs INFJ teachers who genuinely connect with individual students. It needs INFJ creators whose work moves people emotionally. It needs INFJ nonprofit leaders working toward causes they believe in. It needs INFJ researchers asking deep questions about how to make the world better. Stop trying to force yourself into careers that require you to be someone you're not. Stop listening to advice that prioritizes external markers of success over internal alignment. Stop believing there's something wrong with you because you're not thriving in an environment that was never designed for how your brain works. Instead, trust your instincts about what feels meaningful. Seek out work environments that value authenticity and depth. Build your career around your strengths, your values, and what actually energizes you. That's not settling. That's being smart about your life and your well-being. Your personality type is a gift, not a limitation. The right career won't feel like constant resistance. It'll feel like you're finally in a place where being exactly who you are is exactly what's needed.